If someone asked you right now, where should this business use AI? Would you be able to answer them confidently? Without guessing? Well, after this video, the answer is yes. Because I built a tool that audits any business just from a single URL and gives you the full business overview before the first meeting even starts. Let me show you how it works. Perfect. So this is our AI Auditor, and it's a mix of 3 agents that I'm going to show you now real quick how they work so that we can see in practice what this does. So since I am an ex-Amazonian, let's audit Amazon and see what the result is. So we're going to submit the URL, and this is all we need in order to start the workflow. The first agent is a company research agent. And what this does is that it will receive a URL as an input that we just provided. And then as output, it will start gathering information publicly about the company. So name, website, annual revenue. Then it will determine a business ID and then return a revenue range, of course. Then it will give us the employee count, technology stack that they are using, primary location, industry, and at least 3 additional business relevant data that the AI will be able to find online. And which tools are we using? Well, in order to understand the tools, we need to go back to the initial system, so right here, and we need to explain real quick what is an MCP. So imagine that you are a smart employee and you go inside a company, and your company is in a big building, right? And inside the building, there are also other companies. You have your badge, and you know that with your badge, you can enter your company, access a laptop, go to the kitchen, and you have all of the things available to you that are the things that your company is actually providing you with. So now, in the same way, the MCP is the badge and the employee is the AI. What does it mean? It means that the AI, once it has an MCP that it can access, let's call it like this, it will know exactly which tools it has available, what to do with those tools, when to call them, and how they work. And that's why for this agent in particular, we have an MCP attached, because what we're going to use now is basically Explorium as an MCP, which is a system that I'm going to walk you through now, or a server that enable us to access information from the company or to enrich the data from companies, access IPO data, revenue data, company size, employee count, etc., etc., etc. And using this Explorium MCP, then the AI agent will know automatically what are the things that it should access and when, without us hard coding them inside. So with that being said, we can go directly now inside the MCP, so Explorium, which is the service that we are going to use now. And if we go inside documentation, here you will be able to see on the left-hand side all of the things that we can access. So we can match a business, fetch business information, and everything inside, right? So it will give us the body parameters, etc. Fetch business, business statistics, so all of the things that we want to access, business events, business enrichment, which is what I was mentioning before. So you can have the firmographic or the technographics of a business. So for example, right here with technographics, here it means that we are asking the MCP to figure out what is the tech stack, so the tools that each company is using, right? So we are not going to have to say with a code, hey, go figure out the tools that the company is using. We can just say, hey, access the technographics, and the AI agent will do it automatically. So that's the great advantage of an MCP. It has already all of the logic cooked and boiled inside its own brain. And here you can see we can access so many things: financial metrics, public company data, funding acquisition, business challenges, competitive landscape, and so on and so forth. So, by the way, if you ever do company enrichment data, I would highly recommend you to use Explorium, because this is one of the best service. And if you are familiar with scraping tools, and to give you a thing that you might be more familiar with, Apollo or Apify are tools that are used to scrape B2B's leads. And in the same way, we are using Explorium MCP in order to scrape company data. So that's exactly the same type of logic that we are just using in different business contexts. Now, going back to our NA10, we can now go back to the tools, because now, as we were mentioning before, we understand that the two things that we are using is match business. And so you know all of the things inside match business that are inside MCP Explorium, and enrich business firmographics. So all of the data retrieved from the firm. And what is the output? The output is basically this part right here that we can access immediately. So we are going to have something like the website, the revenue, as you can see, the employee count, the tech stack that Amazon is using, so AWS and etc., where they are headquartered, the LinkedIn category, additional data points, public ticker symbol, because then it accesses also the NASDAQ stocks and all of those information. And then we go to the second step, which is the other two agents that are on the top level similar, however, and also the prompt is very similar. However, the use case is a bit different. So here we are using Amazon. So we're using a company that has public data available, right? But the real value is that we need to be able with this system to scrape any business and to audit any business. So one of the fallback logic that this system has incorporated is that in case you don't have the URL of a public company, then you can use everything else that is available in the internet up until you find all of the relevant information that you're looking for in order to enrich your data. And how are we going to be doing it? We're going to be using a service which is called Tavily, which is nothing more than a service similar to Google, right? We're just scraping the web up until we find all of the information that we want. And so as you can clearly understand, the difference between the first agent and the second agent is simply the fact that do I have the data that are coming out of the agent? So are they available and enriched already, like in this case? Or do I have to go find them in the web? And then once they're ready, then we go through the same logic. Let's go now inside the same logic. And to do this, we just go inside the Auditor. So as you can see, we are having two inputs. One is the URL that we provided initially to the agent, right? And then the enriched data. This is the output of the first agent. And now right here, we can just go and check quickly, because it's a very extensive prompt, all of the things that this system has available. And by the way, the template and all of the information are available for free in my school community. It's in the first link down below. What you're going to do is you're going to have to press the first link. And once you've done it, you're going to land in the first and initial page of the community. You're going to go into the classroom section and you're going to go inside the tutorials. And it's going probably to be one of the first videos. So you can go right here and eventually you can find the blueprint and you can import it. And if you don't know, no worries, I prepared a video for you that shows you how you can actually import the blueprint in your NA10. Now, coming back to our agent, I'm going to quickly run you through the top line logic. This agent has a role and a mission, like a goal, like define it however you prefer, honestly, which is to create an audit. It has some responsibility, which is that basically it's to perform a structured audit on sales and marketing, then customer support, product, finance, and all of the internal ops and etc. The guideline principle is that basically it just needs to think like a consultant and run a diagnostic. That's the top line understanding. And the initial input is that it needs to have all of the data that we already provided, right? So the company data, the company size, the name, the URL of the website, and all of those financial information. And the reason behind it is that this agent will run an analysis which is done in phases. So the first one is it will normalize the input. So you will get a URL and etc. So if you get a www and non-www, then it will standardize the thing. It will capture all of the available enrichment data. And this is phase 0. So their normalization phase. Then phase 1 is identify the digital assets. So it will basically run a research with Tavily that it will identify all of the sites and domains that are available, blog, resources, support, contacts, then eventually also Glassdoor and LinkedIn contact. Here we will then crawl, which means we will access all of the website and go through each and every one of them. So we will go through the homepage, the blog, the career sites, footer section, and so on. Once phase 1 is finished, we will analyze sales, marketing, and all of the internal ops of the company. So here, the intent is just to understand the demand generation part, right? So how the business is run, and the end in mind is that we always want to identify what are the top opportunities where we can actually implement AI in order to deliver business value to our customers, right? So here we want to evaluate all of the CTAs in the website, lead capture mechanisms, so forms, newsletters, or anything available basically. How active is the business, so posting on LinkedIn or not, presence, case study, marketing and CRM, and etc. Phase 3, customer support. The reason behind it is that a lot of application of AI right now are for customer support. Like, may think like something as simple as a RAG for like a chatbot or internal questions, FAQ. Like, those are actually not directly impacting the revenue, but they are really impacting the time spent and like, I would say even the revenue per employee, right? Because then employee can focus on more valuable activity that maybe are going to impact the revenue in a more direct way than simply answer customer complaints, even though for Amazon specifically, customer first is very important. Then live chat, tools, knowledge database, and etc. So up until now, as you can see, we're analyzing the structure of the business because we went from the lead capture mechanisms to customer support. So we're really going through all of the funnel in order to identify the top opportunities. Once we do this, then we can go and analyze the various product, service, and delivery system and the review that we have. So, I don't know, SaaS, e-commerce, services, and so on. And then phase 5 is ops and productivity. So here, anything related to productivity tools, Slack, Teams, cloud infrastructure. So for example, here we have AWS itself and so on. And then phase 6 is the summary, right? So synthesis and recommendation. And now what is important? That this recommendation right here, so phase 6, is what's going to be used in order to formalize the recommendation for the output. And this is very important because the output is, and now we're going to also see the example like live, so the report itself, it's going to be an executive summary that identifies 3 to 5 bullet points of what are the most important things or the highest leverage task where you can actually use AI. Then scoring tables. So this means that we are just like a consultant would do, but we are putting in a matrix, so in a table like sales, marketing, ops, and etc. And we are scoring them, giving them a rationale of what do we think about that activity and what could be a potential like way to improve it. Domain deep dives. So here we do as-is analysis, gaps analysis, and where we could use AI to further leverage it. Quick wins. So things that you can apply in less than 2 weeks. Then strategic initiatives, 3 to 6 months. KPIs, 2 to 3 per domain, and then the roadmap. Now, let's go straight into seeing what the result looks like. Let me also go right here. And let me go into this site right here where I can paste it and I can have visibility without opening my drive on the executive summary. So as mentioned, executive summary, where Amazon operates, maturity of the system, and what do they do, right? Biggest unforced error at Amazon scale tend to be support detect deflection quality, returns defect, and seller performance variance. I can't comment. And scoring table. And as you can see here, you have the rationale that we were discussing before. So AI gave overall a score and then a justification of why that score is being given. Then here we're going to have the domain deep dives. So sales and marketing with the current state, massive multi-channel demand generation, highly advanced ads business with targeting attribution and auction systems, strong analytics and experimentation culture, deep telemetry across digital properties, gaps, friction, what AI identified, and AI leverage. So privacy safe measurement, automated creative generation, plus compliance checks, and etc. Mind you, this is so nice because when we are doing this type of analysis, we are actually analyzing what are publicly available data because as we were mentioning before, we are using Tavily and all of the other services that are accessing and summarizing everything around the web. So this is extremely important because what before used to take like weeks of research and what you could, use consultants to do and etc. Now, if we have an AI agent that has a decent enough prompt, like the one that we provided, and we also enable the agent to crawl every website that it's available, then we're going to be able to have a really high quality output that is very good, because if you think about it, you can use this type of system in two ways, right? It can either be a lead magnet for your leads. So whenever you go in the first meeting, you have something already prepared, or you send them the thing for free so that they can more or less have an understanding of where they stand as a business. And then you can start creating the deprivation gap, right? So you can start showing them what could be their end state and how far they are, and that's very valuable for them. Or you could even use it in order to go already in the first meeting prepared, because this system, technically speaking, it's going to give you all of the information for you to have a top line understanding. And it's very valuable because if you have ever done AI consultancy, one of the most difficult and tedious thing in the beginning is to talk to each and every team and then figuring out, okay, what is their issue, what is their processes, mapping as is, mapping to be, and etc. So this system can really help you in having an initial understanding of, okay, that is the direction that I might want to go and check. And then, of course, you can validate it yourself once you enter the company or once you start talking with every other team, right? Then you analyze sales, then same thing, customer support, product service delivery, internal ops, and etc. Tailored AI and automation initiatives. And then once everything in here it's done, you have what we were discussing before, right? So the quick wins, the strategic initiatives, and suggested KPI, 30, 60, and 90-day roadmap. Now, this is not done because now we have used it. However, what's going to happen right now is that you are going to be able to have this report that I just showed you generated into a Google Sheet. So you can actually share this with your clients. And this generation is done automatically. So the auditor will give us the markdown output. With the markdown node, we're going to change it into an HTML. And this logic right here is simply how we're adding HTML inside the Google Sheet. So with that being said, I really hope this was valuable, and I'll see you in the next one.